Have you ever brought home a gorgeous flowering plant, full of color and life, only to watch it sadly drop all its petals in that one gloomy corner of your house? Yeah, we've all been there. Well, today, we're gonna fix that. We're gonna figure out the secrets to getting beautiful, vibrant flowers to bloom indoors and actually stay that way.
We all have one, right? That spot in the living room or maybe the hallway that just feels a little dim, a little forgotten. That is the gloomy corner. And you know, especially during those long gray months, you just get this craving to bring some life and some color into your space. And flowers, they are the perfect antidote to those winter blues. And this is the transformation we're all after. I mean, look at the left, a beautiful, healthy green plant, which is great. But then you see the right and that explosion of color from the flowers. It just takes a nice corner and turns it into a total showstopper. But here's the reality for so many of us, isn't it? You bring home that perfect blooming plant, and within just a few weeks, the flowers are gone. And the plant is just kind of surviving. It can really feel like an impossible mission. So, what is the secret? Well, it all starts with debunking a huge misconception about indoor plants. Let's call it the low-light myth. And here it is, the absolute truth of the matter, straight from Gardener's Path. Now, the key word here, the one to really pay attention to, is thrive. Very, very few plants, flowering or not, are going to truly flourish and put on a big show in a dark corner. This really breaks it down perfectly. See that plant on the left? That's what tolerating low light looks like. It's just hanging on, it's surviving. It has no extra energy to make flowers. But the lush, blooming plant on the right? That's thriving, and that's what we want, even though it's pretty rare in low light.
Now, get this. Part of the problem is us. Our eyes are incredible at adapting to different light levels, so a spot that feels bright enough for us to read a book in might actually be a pretty gloomy situation from a plant's perspective. We've adjusted, but the poor plant can't.
So if most plants won't work, what's the solution? Well, it's all about choosing the right players for the game. Let's meet the contenders that can actually handle these less than perfect conditions.
Okay, here is your starting lineup of total all-stars. The peace lily, the moth orchid, the holiday cactus, and bromeliads. These guys are all known for being able to put on a fantastic show without needing a ton of direct, intense sunlight. These are your go-to choices.
And oh, we cannot forget about begonias. So many of them are famous for their stunning leaves, but certain hybrids, like this dragonwing variety, are surprisingly awesome bloomers and will give you tons of color even in shadier spots.
Okay, here's a little bit of insider plant knowledge for you. With some of these plants, like poinsettias or bromeliads, that incredible pop of color doesn't actually come from the flower. It comes from these cool specialized leaves called bracts. The real flowers are usually tiny, but the bracts give you that long-lasting, vibrant display.
Okay, so choosing the right plant is step one. Huge step. But step two? That's where the real magic happens. Let's look at a few clever secrets the pros use to unlock those blooms.
So here is probably the biggest takeaway. The secret isn't finding a plant that loves the dark, it's finding one that tolerates it, and then giving it a little vacation in the light. This is my favorite trick. Think of it like charging a battery. You just move the plant to a brighter spot for a few months. This gives it the energy to make buds. And then, once it's blooming its heart out, you move it right back to that gloomy corner to enjoy the show.
What if you want guaranteed color during the darkest parts of winter? You can actually force spring flowering bulbs to bloom indoors. It's like creating your own personal springtime right in your living room. And here's a little pro tip for tulips. If you plant them with the flat side of the bulb facing the outside of the pot, the biggest leaf will grow outwards, giving you a much fuller, more professional-looking display.
The whole process is actually pretty simple. You start with big, healthy bulbs, you pot them up, and then you give them a fake winter. That's the key. They need about 10 to 15 weeks somewhere cool and dark, like a garage or even the back of your fridge. After they've had their chill time, you bring them out into the light and bam! They think spring has arrived and burst into bloom.
And if you want a really cool party trick for your bromeliad, you've got to try this. Just place the whole plant in a big plastic bag with a ripe apple for about 3 days. The apple releases a natural gas that actually triggers flowering in the plant. A few months later, you should see a brand new bloom spike starting to emerge. How amazing is that?
So we know how to do all this stuff, but let's talk about why it's so important. Because this goes way, way beyond just making a room look pretty. This is about our own well-being.
It's a fact.
This isn't just a decorative hobby. A study published by the National Institutes of Health actually confirmed that actively interacting with plants is a legitimate, evidence-based wellness practice.
I mean, just take a look at this. Researchers compared what happens in our bodies when we do a computer task versus a simple plant task, like repotting. Look at that difference. The computer task ramps up our sympathetic nervous system. That's our fight-or-flight stress response. The plant task, it actively suppresses it. It calms us down.
And the results were just so clear. After caring for a plant, people had significantly lower blood pressure. They also said they felt more soothed, more comfortable. So the takeaway here is simple. Getting your hands dirty and caring for plants reduces stress on both a physical and a mental level.
So when you bring these plants into your home, you're not just decorating, you're not just adding a pop of color, you're actually creating an environment that contributes to your sense of calm and well-being. It's a small act of self-care that really pays off big.
So the only question left is, what gloomy corner, what empty windowsill, what forgotten little space are you going to transform first?